Things are not looking great for Barnes & Noble. The CEO of the bookseller resigned last week, and the company has decided to not refill the CEO position. Now, it's too early to say that Barnes & Noble is going out of business, but if it did, what would that mean for ebooks? A couple years ago, when Borders went out of business, ebook sales dropped across the board. Reason being, when those 400 plus brick-and-mortar stores across the country closed down, Borders wasn't there to serve as a showroom for the online stores that sold printed and electronic books. As David Streetfeld wrote last week in the New York Times, ebooks, in other words, were not a magical technology that could shed all the existing infrastructure of publishing. They needed the existing ecosystem. Now, showrooming is something that all brick-and-mortar shop owners hate. It's a little bit of a consolation to know, though, that if your brick-and-mortar shop goes out of business, it could have a negative impact on those online competitors. But how do printed books compete with ebooks, and how do brick-and-mortar shops compete with online shops? The answer: be prettier. I went to a book reading last month by Neil Gaiman, and Neil, who isn't the first person to say this, but he did say that the main way that a printed book can compete with an ebook is to simply be prettier. And indeed, his new book, The Ocean at the End of the Lane, is lovely. It's iridescent. It's got a picture on the back that's actually Neil Gaiman as a little boy standing on top of a drain pipe. It feels good. And that really is the benefit that any brick-and-mortar shop has over an online store. Think about it. No matter how wonderful the navigation is, no matter how beautiful the design is, an online shop can only be experienced in a visual level, not a visceral level. And it can only be experienced at the size of the little screen of the device that somebody is looking at. There are no larger-than-life displays. There is no smell of pine trees during Christmas. There aren't any Christmas carols. There aren't any of those other senses being impacted in the way that a brick-and-mortar shop can do. So if you are a brick-and-mortar store, then the first thing you need to do is completely enchant the shopper so that they need your products, they need them right then, and they fall in love not just with the product, but with your brand and your shop. And, of course, put in a little station in there where somebody can purchase something from your online store, not somebody else's. Make it easy. Make it easy for them to get something that isn't in stock, and let them do it at a competitive price. So, until next time, this is Sarah Peters saying, if you want to be classic IT and show up in grimy jeans and an old t-shirt to work, go ahead. But remember that in retail, being pretty pays off.